Now, on the topic of thinking and speaking, finishing up my semester at university, you see a lot of people, and you hear this all the time, all over the world, where you go, "Oh, I just did all the studying for a piece of paper," right? They refer to the college degree, university degree, whatever. I spent X amount of money for a piece of paper, and I've been thinking about that a lot. What does that mean? What does that entail? When someone says, "I spent X amount of money for a piece of paper. I did 4 years, 6 years, 8 years of studying for a piece of paper." What does that tell you? Well, obviously it's a joke when people say it, right? It's not just a piece of paper, but the first thing that would really come to mind when I hear that is going, okay, so if you're telling me you spent that much money for a piece of paper, my guess is you didn't attend the lectures. You didn't really learn anything. Everything that you heard went through one ear, went out the other ear. You didn't get any meaning. You didn't get any more knowledge. You're not actually educated. And if I ask you about, hey, can you tell me about this concept in this class? And furthermore, now can you apply that to real life? Apply that to the world around us. Well, what's the application? Take that theory and how can we use it now to be better? And then you see people just freeze up. They don't know what to say. And I think that's really sad. I don't mean to rub anyone the wrong way, but it's like, I guess you did pay all that money for a piece of paper. My friends, I think there is a huge problem with our society in the sense of why people go to school. And I mean university, college, and all that stuff. Whatever reason, there was this disconnect, and I think I'm with the minority. I don't know, maybe you folks feel the same, but I remember talking to an individual, right? And I said, he said, "Daniel, what's the most important thing for you to do right now? Right now in life, what is the most important thing to do to you right now at your age?" And I looked at him and I said, "It is to become knowledgeable. It is to become educated. It is to learn and to take in as much as I can." And then their reply was, "No, it's to get a degree." And immediately when they said that, I said, "Oh no," in my head. Because with that sort of a mentality, you understand, my friends, you have a lot of people who don't really know what to study. And their parents are saying, "Hey, going to university, going to college, just get a degree, just get something. Be safe, have a card up your sleeve." They do that. But all of a sudden, when you're going into university or college for the sole purpose of, "I want a degree, I want a degree, I want a degree. And I guess, on the side, I guess I'll learn a thing here or two." That is so different than going into school with the mindset of, "I'm going to learn. I'm going to learn something new every day." Why? Because I want to become knowledgeable. Because I want to add value to myself. I want to become a person of value so that one day I can share my value on others and make you valuable. So I can contribute to the society, to the community, to the world around me. And as a byproduct, I'll get a piece of paper, a degree that says, "You know what, Daniel, he knows what he's talking about. Yeah, we confirm from this place that Daniel did study here for 4 or 5 years or whatever, psychology, this and that," to back it up, in case anyone was wondering. And for whatever reason, this has just been mismatched, and it's an absolute tragedy. Because I've met people, and it hurts, man. You talk to these kids, and they've got their quote-unquote degrees. You ask them about the content, you ask them about the subject, and it's just, they give you a blank face. And you're just sitting there going, what did you retrieve from that class? Wasn't that a waste? Wouldn't you have rather taken that class and, well, what do you like, man? You like dancing? Why didn't you just take that money instead of going to college? Why didn't you just go just professional dancing? Something that you were going to be there for and mentally, and take it in and become educated in and become knowledgeable in. But it's tough because the system is not for that. Even though the system says, learning first, knowledge first, it gets to a point where it's just about the numbers. It's just about the credits. It's just about that letter grade. And, the hard thing I think for people to realize is when you get that F on your test, right? There's many times, right, where I get an F on my test and it doesn't feel good. It hurts the self-esteem immediately. Why? Because it is a reflection of, in my mind, it's how I'm doing in the class. And if I take that further, it's not only how I'm doing the class, but how I'm doing on these subjects, right? On these topics, on these concepts, wherever they may be. And if that's a low grade, I'm going, I don't understand this. But sometimes you have to realize that just because you get an F, just because you fail a test, it doesn't mean that you don't understand these concepts or these meanings or this way of life. But for whatever reason, you just don't click in this environment. What I mean by that, Maybe the teacher's just way of teaching doesn't click with you. Maybe the way that they teach the course, the way the course is structured. Maybe you're not an exam kind of guy. You're like a verbal presentation kind of guy. Maybe there's something else involved here. But what I mean to say is if you get an F on the test, it does not mean you're dumb. It does not mean you're incapable or unintelligent. Now, that is easy for people to understand. People are like, okay, yeah, dope, I get that. What really stings people is when they get a 98% on a test, when they get that sweet A+, and you go, hey man, this does not make you intelligent. This does not mean that you are educated and knowledgeable. That could just mean you're good at memorizing and regurgitating it on the test, and 1 week later, if I ask you, you have no idea what's up and down. And all of a sudden, people don't like that. There's this psychology term, I don't remember off the top of my head, but it's, when it's a negative thing, you don't associate it with yourself, you associate it with someone else, right? You say, oh, this is a negative thing? That didn't happen because of me, that happened because the teacher, the prof was a bad explainer, or the PowerPoints weren't good, or whatever. But when something good happens, the 98%, you're not gonna go, oh, well, the prof made a super easy test, it was just all memorization. You're gonna go, wow, I'm super smart, I'm super intelligent, look at me. Whereas you gotta realize, hey, that F isn't you. You're not unintelligent. But that 99%, that might not be you either. And as I really think, my friends, it's this mindset of going to school. It's like, yo, why are you going to school? Well, because I want a degree. Why do you want a degree? Well, I want to have a job and a house and this and that. Like, okay, like I get that. That makes total sense. 100%, I'm for it. 2 thumbs up. But just as long as you're not focusing on the degree itself. I hope to goodness that a med student doesn't go, why are you in university? Oh, I just want to get a degree so I can make money. I hope that that's not the mindset. I hope the mindset's like, hey, I'm in university because I want to learn how to do surgery and understand how the heart works. So one day if I am doing open heart surgery, I know my facts. I can dot my I's and cross my T's. That's what I want to hear. Right? When I have my friend of mine who's a musician, he's studying music in school, I don't want him to hear, yeah, I'm doing this for the degree. Like, oh man, like no, I want him to tell me what he wants to learn. I'm doing this because I want to read notes. I want to be able to listen, be able to distinguish the different keys in a song. I want to be able to do this, to do that, right? Because you want to learn, you want to become valuable. Disagree? Change my mind. But in all seriousness, though, I really think that's a huge thing that we see today. That the number one goal isn't learning, it's to get a degree. And, I guess we'll learn a thing or two on the side. As opposed to becoming educated, becoming valuable, becoming a person of value, and then being able to share that knowledge to other people. Going to class, learning those theories, and so did this, so-and-so said that, okay, whatever. Then take that and make it practical. You learn, let's say you go to psychology class, you learn about the bystander effect. The bystander effect is if there's 10 people sitting around and one person needs help, there's a bigger chance that I'm going to go, well, the lady beside me is going to take care of it. And guess what the lady beside me is going to say? Well, the guy beside me is going to take care of it. And guess what he's going to say? And it's going to keep going around. So when I learn that concept and I'm out there and let's say for whatever reason I'm surrounded by 10 people, we see someone who needs help in terms of first aid. And I think, oh, bystander effect. And you can use that self-awareness and go, okay, I got to break out of it. Let me go help. Then when I want to ask somebody else for help, instead of saying, can anybody help me? Because I know bystander effect, I want to call them out. I want to single them out. Hey, you in the red shirt, can you grab me an AED and a blanket? Come back as fast as you can. Hey, so-and-so, right? So now what you're doing is you're taking theory, you're combining it with practicality, and you're using it in the world, right? You're bringing that value to surface. You're taking what you learn in lecture and you're bringing it out. You're taking what you learn in training camp and you're bringing it out to the fight. Does that make sense? So when people say, oh, I paid all this money for a piece of paper, it's, sometimes it's like, man, you kind of did, didn't you? Why did you do that? As opposed to, I paid all this money to become valuable, to become knowledgeable, to become educated, to become wiser, so that I can help other people. And it goes so much deeper than that. This is something I am extremely passionate about. The thing that keeps coming to mind is I really think that people don't care about your degree as much as you think they do. I don't care about anyone's degree. 0%, 100% not. If I meet you at a party, we talk for 2 minutes. I swear to you, I will not ask you about your degree, But I'll ask questions. I'll ask other questions. And just getting you to talk, listening to the way you articulate, listening to the terminology that you use, I'll be able to figure out if, is this a person I want to work with in the future? Is this person who can add value to me, who adds value to others? Is this a kind person? Who is their character? Right? If you're Joe, I want to know who's Joe the person. Don't show me a bunch of facts on a piece of paper. Afterwards, sure, we want to back it up. Hey man, by the way, like, do you know what you're talking about? Like, yeah, man, I have a degree, like, whatever. But you know what I mean? It's not about the degree. It's about you knowing what you should know. When I go to my doctor, I don't have to say, hey, Dr. So-and-so, show me your degree before we get started. Show me your degree. Right? No, we're going to talk for 1 or 2 minutes. And when he does his diagnosis and says what he says, it's going to be pretty evident that he knows what he's talking about. So when people say a degree matters, it does matter. Totally. It matters that you know what you're doing. Now, whether you want to talk about through a degree, whether you want to talk about through an internship of sorts, whether you want to talk about through volunteering, as long as you know what you're doing, that is the key. It doesn't matter where you're getting it from.